Hi, I'm Eric Franklin and this is Mary Ellen, and we're going to talk about why it's not always a good idea to lengthen your spine. Well, first of all, let's take a look at the spine and we can see that it has curves. So here we have a model where you can see those curves, a double S curve, and the whole reason why the spine has these curves is to absorb force. The spine has to have some give every time you take a step. The spine moves a little bit to absorb force. If your spine were like this rod, rigid like that, fully lengthened, you would have a problem. Another way to look at it is to imagine the spine being like this spring. So when you walk, when you do movement, land from a jump, for example, the spine has a little bit of give to absorb force. And just to say, oh, the spine is in the right position when we're lengthening it, you're just going to go, well, the spring is out of the spine. A spring only works if it can shorten and lengthen. Exactly the same for the spine. So if you would take the curves and just fully lengthen them out like that, you have a problem. And I'm not saying you should, create a very curvy spine. No, the spine should have balanced curves and they should oscillate between being a little deeper and a little more lengthened depending on what you're doing. And that's what we're going to explore in this next part. So now we're going to have a first exploration of the resiliency of the spine. Mary Ellen is going to place one hand on her neck, which is the cervical lordosis up here, and one hand on her lumbar lordosis. And when she bends her legs, she's going to sense these two areas deepen a little bit, and when she stretches her legs, she's going to sense those two areas flatten. In other words, when you bend your legs, a little bit shorter spine and then a little bit lengthened spine. So the spine does lengthen, but it happens when you stretch your legs. So when you bend, you have a little deeper curves, and now you're going to have longer curves. Let's do that again. Deeper curves and longer curves, and deeper curves and longer curves. It's a very slight movement, but really important movement. Let's do deeper curves and longer curves. Now Mary Ellen is going to let her curves stay the way they are, so static curves. So you're going to pull up here on the neck, imagine flat up here, flat down there, keeping the spine very long and in one position. And then notice what happens when you try to bend your legs. So now if you try to bend your legs, you're going to feel really tight also in your legs. It's going to be uncomfortable because you're not allowing your spine to adapt to the movement. So this is what we do not want to do. So let's do it correctly again. As you stretch your legs, allow the spine to lengthen. As you bend, allow the curves to deepen. And let's do longer curves as we come up, deeper curves as we go down, longer curves as we come up, deeper curves as we go down. Okay, very good. Then take your hands away and you'll notice the spine will feel lengthened. That will have given your spine a sense of length, but without tension or without the idea they always have to stay in that position. So let's move on to a final exercise to experience how you can feel length in your spine while being resilient and absorbing force. So now we're going to practice the experience of a lengthened and resilient spine. And we're going to do that with a band and also touch and imagery. So we are standing on both ends of a very long Franklin band. And we're going to put this band over our head like that. Nice little elegant head decoration. Here we are. But this is really going to tone your spine. So immediately you'll notice how you're pushing up against the band. Of course, you're not using too much pressure, just a little bit. Then, as we just saw, we're going to put one hand on our neck and feel that curve there, and one hand on our lower back like that. Then, as we bend our legs, we're going to allow the curves to deepen a little bit. So we're visualizing slightly deeper curves, and as we stretch our legs, we're imagining the spine lengthening, elongated curves. And of course, in a very balanced fashion from top to bottom. So let's imagine slightly deeper curves and longer curves. And let's think deeper curves and longer. So the spine can be very long. And now allow the spine to adjust, to be resilient as you go down, and lengthen it again. Let's do this 1 or 2 more times. Deeper curves and longer curves. And this is how the spine absorbs force, by deepening, and then of course it lengthens again. Very good. Let's finish up with a little bit of rotation, just a touch of lateral flexion, not too much. Then we're going to take the band off of our head like that. You can just drop it on the ground and you will notice a miraculous sense of length in your spine, but you still have the resilience. So now when you bend and stretch, you notice a very flexible, resilient, bouncy feeling in your spine. So there we are. You want the spinal curves to be balanced, not too much, not too little, not always lengthened, but allowing to change for the purpose of absorbing force. That will create a healthier spine for you. Go to our website, Franklin-Methode.com, sign up for a newsletter and receive exciting newsletters about how to move with more intelligence and feel healthier in body and mind. Thanks for watching and see you next time.